Leal. The name of the person I'll be interviewing is Arthuro Leal. Today's date is May 8, 2014 in Arlington, Texas. The interview is being conducted for the 2014 Richland Oral History Project. Okay, please state your place of birth.
Okay, my place of birth is Lamesa, Texas.
Please state your parents' occupations and the number and gender of your children.
Okay, my parents was Arthuro Leal, and he was a laborer, and then my mom was a housewife, and myself, I had 5 children, 2 girls and 3 boys.
Where were you living at during the period of 1950 through 1980?
Okay, back in 1950, that's when I was born, but up until 1968, I was here in Lamesa, Texas, And after that, during the 70s, I was in Alpine, Texas, and then I went back to Odessa, Texas, all the way up to 1987. And then after that, I went to Lubbock, Texas, and then to Dallas, Texas.
How old were you when you first became aware of the existence of a civil rights movement in this country?
I was around 11 or 12 years old in Lamesa. I was in junior high when I became aware that there was differences between Hispanics and blacks and whites. So I was around 11 years old.
How did you first become aware of the struggle for the civil rights in the U.S.?
I became aware in high school during my junior year. There was some type of movement in Bristol City, Texas, and the Hispanics were very involved and very aware of what was going on back at that time. And they were organizing and they were having some walkouts and things like that. So I became aware that there was some type of movement or awareness of what was going on.
What, if any, are your personal experiences with racial segregation during the period of 1950 through 1980?
Well, back in the 50s, I became aware that there was segregation because in my community anyway, in Lamesa, Texas, you had to be white to go to the swimming pool, and blacks could not get in the swimming pool except for maybe 2 hours on a weekend, and then all the white skin had to get out, and then they would change the water, and then the black would go in for 2 hours, and after they would come out, they would change the water again, then would go back in. So in my community, Lamesa, anybody that was light complexion would be with the white. Anybody that was dark would be with black. So more or less, it was not really by race, it was by color. And I became very aware, and everybody did, and we just thought it was funny back then, before we became aware that it was not cool to segregate or to separate the color.
Did you ever actively participate in activities focused on the civil rights movement?
Yes, I did get very, very involved back in the late 60s. As a Democrat, although the Hispanic were organizing as Mexican-American movement, which was La Raza Unida Party, I did get involved with them, but I always participated as a Democrat within the organization of the Raza Unida and also the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers were very united with the Hispanics during the late 60s.
In what ways did the civil rights movement directly affect your everyday life prior to 1980?
Well, personally, I believe I kind of assimilated with everybody else. My clothing changed. I would try to assimilate with the majority at the time, which the majority of the time was white. So I guess clothing was one of the things that I was very, very aware of. You kind of had to blend in to try to get along. Places that we would go to, like clubs or restaurants or things like that, we would be aware of where we were going. Yeah.
Did anyone you knew outside your family, like your neighbors or friends, participate in activities focused on the civil rights movement?
Yeah, like I said, back then in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of participation, and across the street and everywhere, in high school, anywhere you would go, they would really be involved in the movement. Both Hispanics and the blacks were very involved. So yeah, I could see it, and I could see my friends being involved. And myself directly, I got involved through the American GI Forum, which was a veterans organization, or is a veterans organization, because they were not only discriminating or separating the races, or attempting to separate the races. The Hispanic that were coming from Vietnam at that time were also being discriminated against, and we were fighting for the veterans. Hey, they had equal right, they fought during Vietnam, so I was very involved through the veterans organization at that time.
Do you recall any leaders who you feel were important to the efforts of the civil rights movement in your local community or state?
Well, in my local community back in the late 70s, it was in Odessa, Texas, and it was like Leal was very involved. Richard Avalos at that time was involved. Myself, I was very involved. I had Erasmo Banda, a original friend, that was involved. He was a retired veteran, and Homero Rodriguez, also a retired veteran. He was very involved in the GI Forum. And we had others like Gilbert Herrera from Lubbock, Texas, that would be in our community there, Odessa, and he was with the Drum Berets, or he was the leader of the Drum Berets. So he was another one, and we had Nicky Hernandez, which was with the Lowriders at that time. And he was also very involved with the movement, with the Carnalismo, which is the brothers and sisters involved in the movement. So those are the main ones that come to mind that were very, very involved back in 1978 all the way up until 1982 when I was still there in Odessa.
Did you know any of them personally or directly participate in activities with them? What experiences with them can you relate to?
Yeah, personally I knew them as friends, also knew them from where they worked, and I also knew them in a social environment, I knew them well. So we related in different levels, not only in the community, but we were also friends, like I said, and also in educational level, we were on the same educational level, especially at Banda and Rodriguez. They had their college behind them, the military behind them. So yes, personally, I was very, very much involved with them.
Where were you on the day Martin Luther King made his famous speech at the Lincoln Memorial on August 28, 1963?
I was 8th grader when it happened. I was in Lamisa, Texas. It was at the middle school, but they used to call it at the junior high, Lamisa Junior High School, but when it happened, when he got killed.
When did you first become aware of the content of its message?
I really became really aware about the content of the message until the late 70s when I was already teaching and I was doing research, and we were putting activities together to make the children aware of what was going on. So I really became aware because I did go through the speech, and I read it and study it to make presentations to the kids.
What other historical milestones during the Civil Rights era, 1950 to 1980, in addition to the King's speech, do you remember as particularly vivid memories? What do you recall thinking about him at that time?
Well, the main one is John F. Kennedy. He was my hero when he got killed in November of 1963. That stayed with me until now. So I feel that if he had survived and had not been assassinated, there would be completely different way we would have handled the civil rights movement. So that's very, very vivid in my mind. Also, Cesar Chavez from California that I met there in Salvador State University. That's a very vivid memory in my mind. And Remsen Muniz, which was running for governor as Rasmunida Party. He was very fluent in English. He was a Baker graduate. He was a Baptist. So that really stayed in my mind. Those three individuals are in my mind for forever. John F. Kennedy, Cesar Chavez, and Ramsey Muniz.
How did the experiences of living in the civil rights era prior to 1980 affect your later life?
I believe that it affected me through my children. They became very aware of what their daddy was doing. So I can see my oldest son and I can see my other sons very much involved in the movements of today by what they experience or hearing their daddy talk about. I also think my daughters are also more affected to a big degree just by seeing the participation that their daddy was involved in and what he talked about. And, has influenced them into in a big way.
Is there anything you would like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
Well, I believe the movement from the Hispanic viewpoint, I believe they should be more involved, to have more leaders that are Mexican American from here, from the United States. We have a few Cuban Americans that are very, very much involved, which are attempting to represent all the Hispanics or all the Mexican Americans. And to me, the Mexican Americans from here, especially from Texas, are completely different from the Cuban or Puerto Rican Americans. The culture, the traditions is not quite the same. So I would like to see more Hispanics from Texas, Mexican America, for the roots to be from South America and Mexico to get involved and represent our perspective of the way we see our way we're integrated into the system of the United States.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Leal. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.